It's only been 7 minutes, Pops. We've waited longer for that. But we do have a Kenyan Karani. Kenyan Karani. I don't know what the double A means. Brian would probably be able to help us with that more. The longer he puts off painting the ceiling, the more coats it'll take. I don't know about that. At this point, it's more of a meme than anything, isn't it? How are we doing? Welcome in, Tyler. How's your day going? I hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. But this week, we do have another one of Bean Man's Beans. I tried to get the viewer requested one from Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't think so. But I tried to get the one for Alpha in. That way we can start checking off some of those. But it didn't come in, even though I ordered it on Saturday, Friday, something like that. But so that will be next week for sure. Guaranteed. Why do you have to paint a ceiling? Isn't it already white? It's from where the so when we redid the kitchen, the old owners, when they were I know, I apologize. Sorry, Riv. But they didn't paint under the cabinets, so when we rearranged my kitchen and everything, there's spots that aren't white, and where we took down the wall that separated the dining room area from my kitchen area, there's a real blemish on the ceiling there. So, and it's obviously not painted because there was a wall there. But today is the Bean Man's Bean, as always. Brian from Fat Beans Coffee Lab roasted these. He roasts these live on Twitch. If this is your first time being in one of these streams for our roast rate, welcome in. But a big shout out to Brian at Fat Beans Coffee Lab. He roasts all of the beans live on Twitch every time you do an order. He does them on there. He's usually pretty good at giving you credit for buying the beans from him, and he lets the people know that it's for you. If you guys are interested in any of that stuff, he's a very knowledgeable individual. He knows a lot about his coffee, for sure. A lot more than I know. I've actually learned quite a bit from watching his streams while he is doing these, or while he's roasting. There's a lot of really good information you can get from him. But this is a lighter roast, so you see our beans here. Runaway bean. But they are a light roast. Looking for hints of peach and apricot. As we learned from the last batch that had apricot in it, I'm not very knowledgeable on the apricot taste. I did find it interesting, the shells on these ones when I ground it up. Yeah, because grinded is a word. But when I was grinding the beans, the shells actually made some kind of like residue. It's the first time I've actually had one of them do it. I'm really interested in trying this, mainly because I am a rather decent fan of peach. I wouldn't say I'm like a huge peach fan. But it'll be interesting to see. Did you grind it too fine? No, I don't think so. No more than I normally do. But I mean, that's always my grinder is far from making a perfect bean. You know what I mean? But we are looking for a less acidic, which is natural because it is a light roast. Usually, the lighter roast you're going to have less acidity than most Kenyan coffees. We'll see how it goes. This is our second Kenyan coffee I think we've had on stream that we're trying. Let me check real quick. Yes, we did have another light roast Kenyan that we tried on stream. We gave that one a 7. So we will see how this goes. You're ignoring me. Make a comment about the white ceiling, but Matthew would get mad at me. I would not necessarily get mad at me. I am going to ignore you talking about grinding on my mother. Should do a dono for a nice... Yeah, there's nothing wrong with my grinder. It's fine. It gets the job done. for as much as I use it. If anything, I need to do like a dono for for like a pour over, or not a Euro press, whatever the hell you call it. But from what I understand, the coarser the grind, the more bitter acidic the taste, right? I'm not sure. That would be a Brian question. I don't know the answer to that. I think the more coarse it is, the less flavor you get out of it, just because less of the coffee bean is being utilized in the pour. At least that's the way it logically... I'm ignoring him too. It's a little bit easier for me to do Ma than you. But at least that's the way it logically makes sense to me. Because if you have a coarser grind, then you're having less of the beans be... like that it goes through. Like if you think, for example, like the outside of the bean in as the water mixes with the grounds, that it wouldn't interact with as much as the bean as if it was finer. Which is why I think espresso machines, you need such a fine grind for. Just because you're having less water go through it, and it's more temperature water that makes a difference to leach the oils out. Could be. I don't know. I would imagine that. Well, I mean, all the water is the same kind of temperature. I mean, usually. I don't know this. I'm just kind of pulling shit out of my ass. That's quite the saying. But I could see how heat would matter. I mean, obviously, you like even when you're making cold brews, you still heat it up. You know what I mean? You're still using hot water in cold brews, and then you refrigerate it afterwards. But so I would imagine heat has something to do with it. I don't know. That would be a question to ask Brian, just because he is the Bean Man. You don't get a name like the Bean Man without knowing your shit. No, you aren't room temp. What? Room temp and cold brews? Really? Oh, well. See, I don't know shit. But, we used to make campfire and scouts on a campfire with percolator. The water would get a lot hotter and it would make more richer coffee taste. I would more say that that's because you're, so the way the percolator works in that is it's like coming up and into it. You know what I mean? I think that's just because it's getting more interaction with the grounds. I don't know if I wouldn't necessarily say that that it's because of the hotter water. I would say it's more because it's interacting with the grounds more. And Luke, you do not need to get me a gift. I do not need gifts. While I appreciate it. So to smell, I can really get the apricot. The smell gives strong apricot hints. Is it cold brew? No, it's cold brew is refrigerated for like a day or whatever. We'll see how much the peach comes out. I'm not huge into apricots, but the only kind of apricot experience I have is with the only apricot experience I have is like through jam. So, and then we did have one. Seems like it would be a great roast. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Grind this too coarse, won't allow the water. Yeah, flavor solids from the inside and bigger particles. That's kind of what I was thinking. Your brew will taste weak and lightly sour. Huh. Too fine, you get a brew that's, yeah. That's kind of what I was expecting, because the finer the brew, the more it gets to. That's what I learned when I was a barista at the. I didn't know you were a barista or barista bo. But how we doing, Vinny? Welcome in. But let's give her a taste, shall we? I don't add any sugar or anything. I just I actually all of my coffees I drink are black. Ooh. That is a nice after hint. Honestly, it's kind of boring at first. It's started at Starbucks. I went to a local coffee shop where I worked for over a year. Cool. The more you know. But it's kind of dull at first. It definitely has low acidity. Um, it really doesn't have any flavor at all at the beginning. But then it eases into the apricot. It's interesting. Not a fan of light roast for the It would like again if I had like other brewing methods that pull out the flavors better. For example, like a pour over or a whatever the hell you call it. A can't think of the word right now. But for just drip pots, I would be inclined to agree. There's not the flavor's there. It just doesn't hit right away. For example, I thought this was going to be just a normal cup of coffee at first. Yeah, kind of boring. Once you get past the AeroPress. That's the word. Thank you for saying that, Pops. I think I'd get more of a sense with it. But so like once you get done drinking, like once you swallow, it then hits you with a flavor. I don't get a lot of peach. I'm definitely getting a lot more apricot. Just it might flow into the peach a little bit at the end, but the apricot is definitely stronger. If you let it sit on your tongue, it seems like it's you never get peach. Yeah, it's all apricot. I don't catch any of the peach. The apricot's nice. It's just you're a dirty old man, Pops. Dirty old man. No. I can't say I haven't said worse, but yeah, it's definitely just if I'd had to say anything, I'd say it's just apricot coffee. Would I take this over my regular roast? Probably. It's got a nice flavor to it. I'd probably say a little bit more than 4. I'd probably give it a 5 because I know the way that I started rating these isn't the way that I continued, or if I'm basically making like my Maxwell House coffee that I drink every day. I make that my base at 5, and then I try to decipher if I would like to drink this over that. It's got a delightful taste. Would I go out of my way to pick this over the Maxwell House? No, probably not. 4 might be a good one. Just because I want to go out of my way to drink this. You know what I mean? Is it worth the premium price for specialty beans? I don't think so. Maybe if you're a huge apricot fan, I would probably give you. I'd suggest this for you more. But if you're just like trying to drink coffee for coffee, it's not worth it. Just because literally all it tastes like is apricot, which is delightful. If you don't like a heavy hitter, it's nice too. The acidity is non-existent. It's not harsh at all. It's a really love you too, Pops. But it's a really a very easygoing coffee. And then if you love apricots, it's just a cherry on top. But Cozy, I think you're going to be right. I think we are going to give it a 4. Just because, like I was saying, my grading system, I'm going, like, my Maxwell House is a 5. Would I like this more or less than that? And I just, it tastes like apricot coffee. So we're gonna go with that. Thank you for the input, Cozy. Much appreciated. It was a good call on the 4. I was thinking like a 5, but then when I was thinking about my grading scale, we're figuring it out. We're working on it, getting there. But GG's for sure. It's a decent cup. Looking forward to drinking on it the rest of the night. We will go back to our break screen. I'll go fill this up, go use the bathroom, and we will be right back.